Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Power series called The Healing Trap When You're Stuck in a Healing Loop. So this is my YouTube series called the Power series, where I will be diving into a specific topic each week, talking about embodied power, discerning with your energy, embodying your gifts and your intuition on a higher level, and being in greater leadership. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Margarita Alcantara, and I help New Earth leader entrepreneurs deeply embody their power so that they can fulfill their mission on Earth in a higher way. If this conversation resonates for you, I invite you to like and to subscribe to this channel, because I'll be putting out a new episode every single week that is going to be exploring these topics around your embodied power, being discerning in your energy and your frequency, and being in greater leadership. By the end of this video, you'll understand what I've observed in private practice when it comes to healing, why so many are addicted to healing as an escape from reality, the difference between avoiding healing and real healing, why it's happening now, and how to be truly empowered in your own healing journey and expansion. So fun fact, this is the second time I am reshooting this video, because the first time around it was really amazing. However, we are in the middle of monsoon season here in Sedona, and so we had a really big monsoon shower today, and it basically depleted all of the power in our house, as well as in a lot of parts of Sedona, as well as Phoenix. And so all the power went out when I was in the middle of shooting this entire video, and it was awesome. And I even tried to retrieve it and everything, but it just was a corrupted file. So here we are, and that is how important this topic is. What I've observed in private practice is that there are some patients who are really proactive, and they're really all in with really wanting to uncover and transform all that they can in their healing sessions. And then there are other patients who just want to come in and they just want to get blissed out and feel high vibe and that kind of thing. This is indicative of what's going on with a lot of healing modalities right now. So I've been almost 20 years now as a private practitioner who is a licensed acupuncturist, a Reiki master teacher, a medicine woman. And in the past 8 years, I've also become a mentor and an activator for those who are in New Earth leadership. And I've learned that across the board, you're seeing this not only with acupuncture, with Reiki, with other healing modalities and energy work, but also breath work, yoga, like even ayahuasca and plant medicines and other things that are out there that can be very transformative. There's a difference between passively consuming and being an active participant in your healing who's integrating expansion. So there's a difference. I'm going to talk about why so many are addicted to healing as an escape from reality. There's so much going on in the world. It's very overwhelming. And so I actually am not judging anyone who might be experiencing this, because it's just a lot. There's a lot to deal with, and it's just easier to kind of just want to have a bliss state, just check out and not really deal with a lot of stuff. And I totally get that. And another reason why so many can be addicted to just being checked out during their healing sessions is because it can make them feel productive, right? It can make them feel like, okay, I booked my session and now I just need to show up and experience it. But here's the thing, when it comes to true healing doesn't occur without your active consciousness and participation. That's when you really get the most of it. That is when you get really transformative results. And that's when you really open into your growth and really expand. So here's the difference between avoiding healing and real healing. So avoiding healing looks like going to sessions with no intention of doing any inner work. Seeing your practitioner as healing you is another thing of what avoiding healing can look like. Because here's the thing. A lot of people who do the work that I do, they call themselves healers. And if you want to call yourself that, that's fine. Me, I do not call myself a healer, even though other people actually call me a healer. I'm more of a healing practitioner. I'm a healing facilitator, because that's what I really am. And the true healer is you. You are the one who really ultimately heals yourself. You can get a lot of support, such as coming in for a session with me, for instance, or any other modality. But ultimately, you are the one who really sets the stage for your true healing to happen. Because number one, you invest in yourself, you go to the session or sessions most likely, and ultimately you are the one who is telling yourself, yes, this is something I want to transform. And your conscious activity, your conscious participation in this transformation is really what helps you transform in the first place and heal. Avoiding healing also looks like going to sessions to avoid dealing with your feelings, your emotions, or to escape from reality. And I'm not judging you if this is something you're feeling, because you do you. But the thing is that when you are not really connecting in with your emotions, with your feelings, when you're trying to use it as a way to escape from your reality or to avoid someone or a situation, that's not going to really help you in the long run, because you are going to need to deal with it anyway if you're really going to heal with whatever it is. So when you're trying to escape from reality, or trying to not deal with your emotions, that's actually kind of a form of resistance to your own healing, because you're going to be resisting your own healing if you're trying to avoid crying, if you're trying to avoid having any discomfort in your feelings. And so that is going to happen. So if you're avoiding your feelings, you're trying to just like escape from reality in the world, then that's a way of avoiding healing. Another way is expecting everything to be about bliss 24/7. So it's a little bit about what I said, that if you are just trying to like be blissed out all the time, and that's the reason that you're in your session, then good luck with that, because then once you're done with the session, then you get to go out in the real world and still deal with life, right? Or not. But another thing is that having expectations going in of what your healing should look like, that's a way of avoiding healing. And I wanted to share a funny story, because I had this one patient one time who came in. She had read my chakra healing book, and she came in and she's like, okay, Margarita, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to have 7 sessions. And in each session, I'm going to address a chakra. And once that's done, I'm going to go to the next chakra. So root chakra will be session 1, sacral plexus will be session 2, and so forth. And so I just laughed, because I'm just like, that's not how energy works. Because sure, you can get a tremendous amount of transformation and healing with just one session. And we can definitely just focus on one chakra if you like. But the way true healing works is that you address the thing that's most giving you turmoil in that moment. And then what typically happens is that you'll lift off that layer, only to find that there's many, many other layers underneath that layer. And it's like an onion, and healing is like an onion. It's like you peel off one layer, you address that one layer, and then you've got all these other layers underneath. And if you've especially not really delved into this kind of work for many, many years, and maybe this is your first time opening into your healing, then expect it to take more than one session per chakra, right? So I gave her a reality check on what healing could be different than what she's envisioning. And this is what I'm saying, is that when you are expecting things to be very linear when it comes to your energy, that is the wrong approach to have. And I'll tell you why. Because you may desire to have everything be super efficient, right? Like A plus B equals C, and root chakra 1 and session 1, be done with it completely beyond time and space. And then we go into the second chakra and do that in session 2. And you may have the best efforts in mind, but energy and healing is not linear. It is a vortex. It is the future. It is the past. It is diagonally. It's coming from above, from below you. Like it's a spiral. It is not linear. And so expecting your healing journey to look a certain way is going to be very disappointing for you as a result, because it's not how it works. Real healing looks like going deep into the root of what created the situation you're in right now. So that means going deep into the layers, going into what happened like when you were like 4 years old kind of thing, allowing yourself to experience discomfort, allowing yourself to feel your feelings, to experience emotions, and to allow yourself to be in discomfort with that, which is very challenging for some people. And it's not pleasant, right? It's not pleasant to experience emotions like anger and rage and pain and suffering and grief and all this other stuff. But you get to experience all of who you are in order to heal all of who you are. Also, real healing looks like being present with yourself and your feelings, which I mentioned, allowing yourself to feel the anger and the sadness that's been suppressed, because especially if you've experienced trauma, if you've experienced abuse, if you've experienced a lot of different things that a lot of people experience as they're growing up and they're, learning about their life, then there's oftentimes a lot of suppressed emotions that show up. So allow yourself to feel those feelings. And also, real healing does look like ugly crying. And it's called ugly crying for a reason, because your face is all distorted, there's snot hanging out of your nose, your mascara is running, you are looking a hot mess, and you feel like a hot mess. That is part of true healing. And for those perfectionists out there who want to look good all the time and have everything look linear, and this is inconvenient for me to be crying in front of a stranger, for instance, let that shit go, right? Embrace the suck is how I've heard it termed before. And it couldn't be termed any better, because when you're really in the true healing, it's just all the shit's going to fall apart. So all the things that you've considered safe, even if it's not aligned, all the friendships that you've had, all the ways you've been living your life, the way you've been, at your business, if you have a day job, maybe you're going to leave that day job. All of these things start to fall apart once you truly, truly heal, because anything that's not aligned for your highest falls away, so that all that is aligned comes into your life and really gives you that deep joy and that healed version of you that you are so deeply desiring. So allowing yourself to let things fall away if they're supposed to takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of bravery, and it's going to be what's required in order for you to truly heal. Now, here's why it's happening right now, and it's important right now, this topic of, kind of checking out, avoiding your healing, that kind of thing, being passive with your healing journey. Like I said, there's a lot coming into the planet. There's new frequencies coming in, like the solar codes. There are sun frequencies coming in that are bringing in those very specific codes. And then you've got frequencies coming in from the cosmos. There are literal cosmic rays streaming into the planet right now, giving us upgrades on top of that. And then there's, personal and collective trauma that's surfacing. So the collective trauma is surfacing around their throat chakras being silenced, about being silenced in general, around not being, really in our power for decades and, years and years and years, hundreds of years even. We have been really so suppressed as a species. And then on top of that, you've got your own personal stuff coming up, which, stuff with relationships, stuff with your business, stuff with, money, with what you're doing in the world. All of that stuff is coming up. And then you've got on top of that, there are old structures in place that have been in place for centuries on this planet that are archaic and they're outdated, and they are part of the old matrix that is meant to suppress your power. And then now all that's falling apart. And so some people are clinging on to it for dear life. And some people are just fuck yeah, right? So there are some people who are just really polarized on even just what's going on the planet, as you've probably seen and heard and experienced. And so it's totally understandable why you just might want to not deal with shit. And you just might want to go into a session and just check out for a moment. And there might be some sessions where you can do that for sure. But if you want to have the long-term power and growth and expansion and transformation, that takes looking into yourself. That takes conscious intention. And again, it's not easy, but you get to be courageous. And here's how to truly be empowered in your own healing journey and expansion. Understand, like I've said before, that you are the healer. You are that powerful. You are that powerful that you can transform so much in your life by simply having the intention to do it, by simply deciding to do it, by simply verbalizing it, because your words have meaning and it's very much crystallizing, especially in times like now. Everything you're saying, you're creating a reality based on that. And this is how powerful you are. There are primary timelines and there are tertiary timelines, and you may have heard of this before. Primary timelines are timelines that are aligned with your highest. So the highest version of you, that has its own primary timeline. But then because you are so powerful with your words and your thoughts and your intentions and what you're putting out in the world, we also often create tertiary timelines, which are timelines that are based on our fear. So everything we're afraid may happen, that we're intentioning and like thinking about and obsessing about, and like we're basically creating a reality where that timeline exists. And that's how powerful you are. And because you're so powerful, you get to also focus on which timeline you want to focus on. So if you want to focus on that higher version of you, that highest version of you, you can do that. But vice versa, you can also focus on all the fear and the pain and the suffering, and then you get to create that. So this is how powerful you are. You are the healer. Also, take responsibility for your experience and your healing journey if you want to really be empowered in your own healing journey and your expansion. See yourself as capable of transformation. Be open to the process of your transformation, which is really important, because if you're not open to truly healing and going deep, then you're going to be in resistance to your own healing. And whenever you're in resistance to your own healing, you get stuck, you suffer, you are in discomfort, more in discomfort than you would be if you actually were in the discomfort of the feelings that you really are feeling. And so you're not going to actually heal. So if you are truly open to the process of your transformation, you will be more empowered in your healing journey. Also, avoiding people who see themselves as healers, who call themselves your healer, your savior, and anyone who is basically saying they take ownership of your healing journey. Run the fuck away from that person because that is a load of shit. It is false. It is untrue. It is illusion, because they cannot take ownership of your life. I mean, they can try to if you're giving it away to them. But I would advise that instead you take ownership of your life. You become your own savior. You become the knight on the shining white horse that you have been waiting for. You become that knight in shining armor for yourself, because ultimately that is how you truly heal, and that is how you truly transform. And healing practitioners, they're an amazing, powerful guide, facilitator, practitioner, but they are not your savior. You are your own savior. So here's what I covered today. I covered what I've observed in private practice when it comes to healing, why so many are addicted to healing as an escape from reality, the difference between avoiding healing and real healing, why this is important now, and how to truly be empowered in your own healing journey and expansion. And I'd love to hear it in the comments. What was your biggest takeaway from this episode? Did you realize something you didn't realize before? Did you see yourself in anything I've described? And also, once again, I'm not shaming you if this is something that you're identifying with even, because there's just so much going on in the world. And I'm just sharing this here so that you are more empowered with your choices and how you get to heal and make decisions about how you want to heal and how you want to live your life and to be more empowered in it. So if this really resonated, I invite you to like and subscribe to this channel, because there's going to be more juiciness where this came from. And I invite you to join us for next week's topic, episode 4. The title's called The Dangerous Spiritual Belief That You Should Be Energetically Open. So if you are an empath, if you are highly empathic, highly sensitive, and you are struggling with energy boundaries and you're afraid of being called a bitch, if you have energy boundaries that are healthy, then this episode is going to be for you. So I hope to see you next week, and step into your power, step into your healing journey. You are the healer.